you want to start a podcast, definitely recommend that you go to Anchor. Anchor is an app that will help you create that podcast for you. It is free. You can use it on your phone, your laptop, or your computer. You can also be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. What's up, everybody? Hope you enjoyed that nice small break. This is the After Dark bonus episode since it was getting really hot up in here. Pause, but you know.
Shout out, Nelly.
Yeah.
We should just have that part of the song play right there. We try to see y'all trying to take to this thing. We gotta get dropped.
Yeah.
Yo, Apple, can you sponsor us with a Mac? Can we get a Mac? Get us a Mac. Get us a free shit.
For all the people that's out there listening, you have business opportunities and stuff, let us know. We'll give you a shout out. If you want to give us free gifts and advertisements as well, please, hit us up on the No Host Bar Crew, on Anchor, on Spotify, on Apple, on Google,
Email me.
Overcast, or
Michael.stein4126@gmail.com. Hit up the email. When we get visuals and shit, I'm assuming we will immediately go to YouTube, and then we can reach our comments and shit like that. But any comments, questions, inquiries, please direct them to my email address, michael.stein4126@gmail.com. I check it every day. We ain't Hollywood yet. Like, let's get like 100,000 listeners or something. Then I have my assistant check. We ain't there yet.
But we broke right now. So we about to get very dark and very intense over here. We had a little discussion. I think.
Y'all see dark in it? You know what? I don't give no fuck. I'm Michael Stein. I'm standing on mine.
Pause. So we're gonna bring in this topic. It's gonna get very controversial up in here. Is it shocking to you when you actually go back and listen to these rap lyrics, or maybe even movies? They be saying some very gay stuff. Prime example: New Jack City. Ice-T at the end, he done whooped Nino Brown's ass. He got the gun on him, and he's like, "I want to shoot you so bad, my dick's hard." I'm like, nowadays, back then it was like, wow,
that was an intense scene.
That was a tense scene. And then when you watch it years later, you like, bro, did Ice-T say some gay shit, bro?
We don't have no problem with the gay.
Just saying, we saying that. Yeah.
Shout out to your quarter.
I'm not even gonna listen. I'm not gonna Dave Chappelle. Shout out to the Wachowski sisters.
Here you go again.
Listen. Next episode, I'm gonna have a list of people that I'm gonna shout out or whatever. Wachowski sisters gonna be on that list. But
you gotta do the Kardashian daddy.
Yeah.
Caitlyn Jenner.
Whatever.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Shout out to Caitlyn Jenner. She's a very brave woman. Shout out to what's the chick name from Orange is the New Black? Laverne?
Wow.
Shout out Laverne Cox. She's a very brave woman. So on and so forth. I'm gonna have a list next episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so hey man, that was weird. I wasn't ready for the last name. Culture was different. There were a lot of things that we just like. I don't know. I feel like on a more serious note that men are. I won't say are, but I say that today's men probably feel, if nothing else, very emasculated, and they feel like society as a whole is pushing the emasculation agenda forward. So, emasculation. When you emasculate.
Emasculation too.
So would that be sex on your face then? Got him.
I feel like, man, content king, we are pushing it to the next level. I feel like the the um, the ideal Cincinnati man. You want to suck on that?
No, I was going to say something that
Wow.
was
It's all
I'm
gone,
going to say I'm ready for some more now.
I bet. I feel like the idea of the bravado has been threatened. So we are overly sensitive to anything.
The what?
We're overly sensitive to anything.
For the niggas with 2 and 3 syllable vocabs and shit, bro, what the fuck that mean, bro?
I feel like we are overly sensitive and aware to things that could even be perceived as a threat to our masculinity. So
henceforth, rap lyrics, movies.
Yeah, so I'm off air. We were looking at a list of
Questionable lyrics.
Lyrics when at the time were deemed okay, but by today's standards would be considered questionable. Maybe just to quote the most noteworthy one. I don't remember the name of the song, but performed by the notorious B.I.G. He said, and I quote, "You look so good, huh, I suck on your daddy's dick." End quote. I'm sure at the time, and at least per the video, I mean the crowd was loving it. A couple other people chimed in and rapped the lyric with them. Everybody was having a good time. Not so much in 2019. Be a little weird to say that nowadays. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I feel like most heterosexual men, especially in today's time, would be taken aback by something like that if it was in today's
So, for example, would you consider 50 Cent line and 50 questions? I'm sorry, 20 questions where he was
21 questions?
Yeah, I'm sorry, 21 questions.
Oh, good. Shout out.
No, yeah, shout out to 21 questions. Classic song.
Shout out Curtis Jackson.
So do you feel the line that he says on there, "I love you like a fat kid loves cake"? Do you see this? How would you take that? Would it be?
Well, I would say when I heard that line, I think I was in like middle school, and when I was in middle school, there were a lot of people who weren't the slimmest people who took offense to that line. I remember that very vividly. I won't say that was like the beginning of the shaming era, but I feel like if he had said that in today's time, he couldn't have got that shit off. It was definitely cool. Per the standards of music at the time, and the tone of the society, that was an easy line to get off, and it was corny as fuck, by the way. But in today's time, not so much. Everybody is I think what do they use now? Snowflakes, is that what they call them now? For people who are sensitive to things, call them snowflakes. Yeah.
Never heard of either.
Yeah. I believe it's called snowflakes. Anybody who is
another term and change.
Listen,
It was supposed to be something.
yeah, smoke line
Winter time hoes.
Winter hoes. The views and opinions expressed by others. Yikes. White bitch. Yikes. But yeah, I think they're trying that they use snowflakes for people who at first it was people who were maybe considered overly sensitive, but if you react to anything and you just not 100% okay, even if it's offensive, like like an example of how extreme it's gotten now. Like if a white man walked up to a black man, was like, "Hey, what's going on, nigger?" and the black man got offended, that white man and any of his constituents will call that black man a snowflake. That's how extreme it's gotten. But if you're sensitive to anything, now that's the term that they use. But to harken back to your point, a lot of the shit that was deemed acceptable per society or culture years ago, will be looked up on for a myriad of reasons, but I think the primary reason being that the 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 male masculinity, at least by some, is they perceive it as being threatened, especially in today's time. Me Too movement and so on and so forth. Shout out to the Me Too movement.
Which is
We got no,
crazy. Like,
we don't have no gripes with y'all, or at least I don't. This is Michael Stein speaking.
I mean, but it's just crazy just to see like how it's almost like offensive that people to like the heterosexual dudes be like, bro, like I feel like because that movement and just like that lifestyle and culture just becomes so massive across like the world. It's just like motherfuckers really just be like can't even reminisce on back when just we speak on some heterosexual shit and motherfuckers getting offended. I'm like, what's wrong with that? Like when niggas like people saying like, bro, I felt that was a gay line, and it was just like niggas be like, what do you mean? And I'm like, bro, I can't just like making me keep my heterosexual in the box because it don't.
Yeah, but see, like that's a weird line to walk down because when you say things like make me keep my heterosexual in the box, well,
but you get what I'm saying? Like,
it's
so openly to talk about like.
Well, I'm saying like the heterosexualness has pretty much ran rampant since the inception of people. Like that's been the dominating preference, so to speak, and much like oppressed racial groups, there are several oppressed orientation groups who have only been able, except for recently, they have only been able to operate inside of a box. So when you start saying things like, "Well, I felt like
So, but I'm saying, so is that what is happening to heterosexuality now? Is it going to
well? That's
what being homosexual used to be? Like just it's kind of like a. If you is like
no,
the mass now is like
is not in my opinion.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
no, I get what you're saying. Yeah. It's not in my opinion. What I feel like is happening is it's room for all orientations, genders, so on and so forth. But the heterosexuals have stood atop of the mountain, sat at the throne in the castle for so long. It just ain't no room for nothing else because since heterosexualism or heterosexualness was the primary orientation, and we've only been taught throughout history, man, woman, those type of relationships, be it religious or social or otherwise, heterosexual is the norm, and there's always pushback to something that's not the norm. Remember, a country full of European people, and then non-European people started showing up, and there were wars and conquering. You remember that? Everybody remember that. I mean, many examples of that: Manifest Destiny, transatlantic slave trade, so on and so forth. The massacre that happened over in India by the British, so on and so forth. So, anytime the norm is threatened, it is considered an issue. But is weird because oppressed groups give sexually oppressed groups like per gender or orientation, those two things are mutually exclusive. I apologize for saying it, but
I respect it.
I just want to be PC.
We don't want to step on our toes. I get it.
No. I mean, this is no holds barred crew. Like, I mean, if we want to just put it blankly for people who might be listening to the shit, gay motherfuckers ain't been allowed to be gay for a long motherfucking time. And if they were fucking ostracized. I mean, Freddie Mercury just got his fucking roses with the movie. Like we been shitting on them as a society as whole, and us, the niggas, incredibly oppressed. We should have sympathy for any other oppressed group, but we probably even more so than white males give pushback to the gay community, and we are an oppressed community. If you don't like gay shit, that's fine.
I'm not saying
that's cool. Just like some motherfuckers don't like nerd shit or rock shit or whatever your shit is. That's cool.
I don't have a problem with the movement,
but it's kind of sick how black people feel about gay people, and black people and gay people probably got way more in common than they do different. especially in America. Like, it's kind of sick that blacks feel how they feel. Like, if anybody should know where we coming from, being gay people, the blacks should know, and the blacks be like, nah, we don't fuck with that. Get y'all gay asses on, and that shit ain't cool. Remember when they was like, get your black asses on? Remember that? Get your nigger asses on? Remember that? And we ain't like that. And we wanted somebody to, like, advocate for us and shit. We begged and cried and pleaded for that, man. And if we ever saw another group, we'd stand by them if they was getting oppressed. There's plenty of other oppressed groups in line. Fuck them, especially gay people. If you black and gay, that's about worse than Trump. Per society, that shit. Ask somebody who black and gay, ask them how their family feel. Ask them how they treated in their own community, the black community. That shit worse than Trump. That shit worse than atheism.
Yeah, if you ain't a famous motherfucker, you just like gay motherfuckers. Magic Johnson. That's or like Frank Ocean.
Frank Ocean came out.
Tyler the Creator.
What year? Yeah. What year?
I think like what year?
What year? Were we privy to this information about their orientations?
Within the last 5 to 10 years.
Right. And in the last 5 to 10 years, if you read the news and anything like that, there's plenty of articles out there where it's a war on straight people. In Boston, they tried to get how they have gay pride every year. They tried to have straight pride. Well, why can't we have them? Why do you need one? It's like white people saying, well, we don't have a white history month. Well, that's because
we celebrate everything white people.
That's my point exactly. Yeah. We celebrate everything straight. Man and woman, that Adam and Eve, have whatever angle you want to spin it, it's celebrated. Whether you admit that or not, heterosexuality is celebrated. It's ingrained in our culture. That's all I'm saying. Like, yeah, it's the exact same, or it's the same argument. It's the exact same argument. And if you say, well, nah, being gay is a choice, a whole lot of people, a lot of scientists too, who would argue against that too. Just like you didn't choose to be black, well, a whole lot of people and evidence to support that a lot of people didn't choose to be gay either. So then at that point, it is the same argument.
I feel a little different. I mean,
because we're not talking about slavery. We're just talking about specifically oppression in America.
Well, you say like you can't control to be black, but I mean, I'm saying like your mom and dad are black. You're coming out black. Yeah. There's nothing to say that your mom and dad have sex or you're going to come out gay. I'm not saying that it's not a choice or not. I'm not going to go that far, but I do feel that there is a little line wrong with that. Like even when you say like black people, we support other groups. I mean, what you just said, black is a race. That's not a sexuality. Because we as black people still get scrutinized against white. Period. This gay white man can still have more privileges over us black people because he's a white man. Period. Now, if he chooses to be gay, that's a choice, decision, whatever he's doing. At the end of the day, he's still a white man. And that white man has privileges over us black people.
You know what? I want to add on that as well, as you just said about Freddie Mercury releasing from Queens and stuff. Like, I guess, allegedly, I guess, he was, gay and stuff, but at the same time too, everybody respected him. Same way they respected Elton John. Elton John is a legend.
But they also weren't married either.
Good point.
They broke her either. Good point. They became famous here.
Yeah, but you have to understand too, from the European side and stuff. Yeah, they gained fame here, but they was popular overseas in the UK. For sure. And then also you have to understand too, from the UK, sexuality. Yeah, sexuality. It's cool over there.
Yeah.
Same thing when they do. Same how when we do films and stuff. Like if there's too much violence in the films in the UK, they do have to try to tone that down or censor it. but it's okay with the sexuality because they're comfortable over there.
But
But once it comes over here,
but see, like,
then it becomes like a totally different concept.
But what I'm saying is, like, I had a conversation with a couple of associates. It was cool. It was just like one thing, we was in a party chat, and we was talking about this, just like how you said, like, the it's just the market, just the culture, and just the society oversaturated. You look at it now, it's just like, man, okay, like some shows that have like gay characters now, it's like at least a gay character in like every movie. Like they got leading roles. It's just like it's in the cartoons now. It's in like just it's becoming the norm, and I'm like, I get it. You know what I'm saying?
It's because you sound like a white man during the blaxploitation era. You sound exactly like that.
I'm just only
They in movies now. They in sitcoms. I get it. It's cool. That's the same thing they said about us when we started popping up in films and shit. That's why we got shitty roles and the blaxploitation era happened. Well, like if you gonna give us niggas, well, you at least gotta make us stupid niggas.
I'm steady saying I don't have a problem. I don't. There's nothing wrong with it. Like I know, like I have gay friends. Like I know gay people.
I have black friends. I know black people. Continue. You making the same argument.
All I'm saying is too much of anything is just too much. Like
yeah, too much black. Too much black. Too much.
Too much
black is too much.
Bro, I'm saying if something's oversaturated, I don't give a fuck what it is.
How can it be?
We just got to a point where we can oversaturate anything as black people.
I don't think we can oversaturate. We are,
but I'm saying like,
what's oversaturation? What's too much black?
But
what's too much black people?
I mean, we're not at that.
Not make it make sense. What's too much black people? If anything can be oversaturated, what's too much black people? Well, like all black winners at the Academy Awards, all black cast on a sitcom that goes on for 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. What's too much black people?
Well, I'm saying.
I'm asking you. What does oversaturation of black
I never
people
said it was though, but I'm just saying.
I know.
I don't know what that'll look like because it's not prominent. But like if I go on like the main thing that has black people right now, sports, music. Like I said, how many fucking black cartoons do we really see? I can name 5 cartoons right now that's got homosexual things in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, okay. Like I said, not knocking the movement or none of that shit. But it's just like this has taken such strides. Like black people are still grinding for that shit. Tyler Perry just got the little independent shit. Black people still grinding for shit.
Thanks.
But the gay movement went from motherfuckers dying to bam, everybody on it. And it's like, damn, black people ain't had that fucking busted door. Yeah, we had Obama. And like, we have key black shit. Like, yes, we have pivotal moments in black history that make us proud as fuck. Like Black Panther and shit like that. And I get it.
Now, you're making the correct argument. But most black people who are upset about it, at least the ones that I've talked to, don't have the same reason that you do. Like, all right, cool, that's what's up. Like, gay shit making strides and shit in a relatively short amount of time. From
overnight.
Well, not overnight because it's been people since
for a long as time.
Yeah,
but I'm saying their movement from when it like
kind of just when their movement moved to the forefront,
like big time.
Yeah,
like that, like everybody.
Yeah, and I get that.
Like
so
like athletes.
So I understand you being frustrated with that movement when our movement seems to be at a standstill and has since like King in the original Black Panthers. I get that, but the argument that is too much gay shit because it's just too much gay shit.
At one time, though,
that's to me that is a argument of fault because that same argument can be applied to anything. Is it?
But that's why I said oversaturation of.
I don't think
too much murder or too much sweets, not enough eating good, or just anything like you overdo.
So then the representation should be balanced.
Yeah.
Well, then
that's a perfect way to say it.
Then that's all right. If that's
let's just find some balance in the shit. Like
for sure,
I don't give a fuck if it's there, but if everything is that, like damn,
you should be placing gay people, lesbian people, transgender people into media and the workforce and Congress, Senate, wherever they want to be at, because they're qualified for the job. You shouldn't do it just
they
because
breathe the same air,
not
bleed the same blood, and
you
I
should
get it.
not do it just because you shouldn't affirmative action them, is what you're saying. Because that's what happens. Like, that's what happened with us. You just shove a whole bunch of black people and say, yeah, we got black people. That's called affirmative action. Don't affirmative action them and do it because you don't want to get flack. You don't want to get, destroyed by every publication out there. You don't want to be on the receiving. You don't want to get me too.
Yeah, pretty much.
But that's
You,
what I'm saying.
because
Like,
yeah,
ain't
no,
nobody.
that's a fair argument to make. I agree,
But
but
that's
they
what
should
I
not
guess that's probably
affirmative
what I meant.
action.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Just like you really just pushing it. Like it's almost like nobody pushing. I mean, like we had a problem with like white people trying to adopt black culture, and I'm like, okay,
Which
that's,
they still do.
but it's just like
I don't
nothing.
know. I have my thoughts on that.
Culture vultures. Come on, man.
What,
Come on.
and I no, I agree, but
But I just feel like they just definitely like that's just like
I feel like
just something that you just like really just like trying to dig into people, and as you said, make that the norm, and just like certain niggas from a generation only gonna come up and remember when being gay was like it for everybody. Like, bro, if you wasn't bisexual or like homosexual, it was just like I don't know what you was doing. And it's just like you said, like older people, like we said in the last episode, older people, we gonna look back and be like, damn, I remember when it was cool to just fuck bitches, and then be like, it was just that at the time. And I'm just like, okay,
yeah,
it's all.
it's just
Just find a balance. That's all.
yeah, for
you
sure.
want
Because I was gonna say
Just find a balance. Like,
yeah, just always stick with just find a balance of things. Put people in places because they deserve to be there,
yeah.
not because
Like I ain't saying
not
there's a
because
lot
you
of, I'm
feel
not saying
not
like
because you feel pressured. But
yeah.
that's why I was speaking how I was speaking. Because when you word things a certain way, your intent gets misconstrued. Because when you say things
Definitely.
like "I remember when it was cool to fuck bitches," well, I'm sure it's a whole lot of white people who might remember when it was cool to just rape black women, or I remember when it was cool to have slaves. Like that was like a big ass thing, and that's not cool. You know, I'm not saying that fucking whoever you want to fuck is cool, in my opinion. That's why I say you have to be careful with how you use your words. Speaking of the culture, nice little segue there.
Yes.
I do agree that there are historically speaking droves of people that aren't black who have rode the wave of success, fame, and fortune off of the backs of the black inventors. I do believe that. However, it's the same argument that I said a while ago. We weren't on a podcast. But I was saying we were talking about our place in the country, and I'm like, well, what's our goal? Like pretty much any other group that's here that wants to be here is here for a reason, and it's a unified reason. That's how come they have unity. Like Hispanic people who are coming from like South American countries and Mexico, they are here to escape persecution for whatever reason or the violence there. They can be united in that effort. They all help each other get over here, however they have to get over here, because they have a unified reason. They have a goal that they want to achieve. The goal of Europeans was to conquer, and they've done that historically. The goal of the Chinese immigrants who came over here was to make wherever they went home. So when you look at any major city, there's a Chinatown there.
Yeah.
They have their home wherever they are. Arabic people and Indian people from India came over here to establish businesses. And they came over here for fiduciary reasons, and they can stay united on that front because it's all about money for them. As you can get over here, you can work, we're gonna grow and expand our business. And ain't no crab in the bucket mentality there, because they're all united on that same front. The problem with black people is what we trying to do? Because we didn't want to be slaves, and then they made us not slaves.
Yeah.
And then we wanted to vote, and then they let us vote. And then we wanted to be mayors and governors and senators and shit. And then we was that. And then we wanted to be president. And then we was that. And then we wanted to win Oscars, and we won Oscars. And then we wanted to be movie directors and have movie studios, and then we did that too. and we wanted, to be included in books and shit, and then they started doing that. So what's the goal? What's the end game?
Balance.
No, and
Balance.
I get the balance, but we not from here. This is
None of
not.
us are from
This is. I don't understand why we fight so hard for a nation that is not our nation. This ain't ours. It was never ours. We didn't start here. We not from here. We were born here. Yeah, and I get that. But if you take two dogs and put them on a spaceship, they not Spacian. They not from space. Even though they was born in space, that's not their area. You know what I'm saying? Like, we not from here. So why are we fighting so hard for an area that does not belong to us and never has? We don't give no fuck about the motherland. We don't give no fuck about where we came from, what our groups are, what tribes we belong to, even if we came from over there. Are we sub-Saharan? Are we Nigerian? Are we this? Are we that? We don't know shit about where the fuck we came from or nothing. And it's saying that black people in America aren't interested in figuring that out. They just busy trying to do what? What are we trying to do? Because whatever reason that you come up with, and I'm sure it will be a good reason, that isn't the reason across the board. Conquering is the reason across the board for white people, and they do that every day. European people wanted to conquer, and they did that, and they continually do that. They conquer. They conquer and oppress. That was their goal. That has always been their goal. That is still their goal. They still do that today. They still conquer and oppress. It's not fought with guns and rifles and tanks and all this shit. They just do it on the business sector now. The internet sector, whatever sector that you want to go to, their goal has always been to conquer and oppress. Name some billionaires, and I bet the majority of them you're gonna name are European because that was always their goal. They get rich, they conquer, they oppress. That's what their goal is. What's our goal? What's the unifying goal? We were taken from, we were stolen or given away, however you take it.
Yeah.
However we got over here. What the fuck is our goal? What are we doing here?
We also conquering as well. It's just for us, it's a little bit. It's going to be more harder for us, simply because we're not from here. So,
Well, is that the goal? Is our goal to conquer?
yes, I feel like it's conquer and balance because we're. I'm saying more of like, well, when I say balance, it's more. I just want everybody to be equal value, more balance. Basically, it shouldn't have to be 1 year all white directors get nominated for Oscars. No
Yeah.
blacks, no gays, no Latinos, no other race. Let it be balanced. I mean,
That's just the word of the day, kids.
yeah, balance. If you don't have balance in your life, you're not gonna get nowhere.
And I agree.
And like, back to what you were saying, like conquering. Like, yeah, we're also conquerors as well. We wanna like look at us. I mean, we're conquering to be better and do better. I mean, we don't want to be stuck in the same position that we are now. We want to be where all the other people that was able to make it and conquer be at a place where they're successful, they got money, they can do whatever they want and live their life.
Yeah.
Time ticks away a lot for us, and you don't know when your time is gonna be gone. So you might as well just go out there, conquer, live your life to the fullest, and just
No, for sure.
get to that plateau to where you don't have to struggle. I mean, we're struggling now, but we want to get to a place where we made it.
Yeah, we want to be good.
Yeah.
We want to be good where we at. And if that was the message across the board, then I feel like we would be in a better place.
Yeah.
We want to be good. When I say conquer for Europeans, let me be clear. I specifically mean conquer people. That was their goal.
Yeah.
That was / is. And please don't misconstrue me. I am Michael Stein speaking here. I love all people. I also think it's like stupid petty bullshit when we start talking about races and shit. That idea was popularized by a European person. The idea of races. Well, the only race is the human race, and when you start making divisions and shit, it breeds dissension, it breeds malice, hatred, segregation, oppression, so on and so forth. It's the same anytime you have a system where there are classifications or designations of different groups, then you have problems. I mean, we can even go all the way back once we hit with men and women, and yeah, they're two different genders.
Yeah.
But even gender is the oldest divide that we still feel the effects from today.
Yeah.
And then it all boils down to races, classes, what religion are you, where you live at, what you drive, so on and so forth.
Like,
But
classification,
classification, it is what uh divides us. Like, if we could get rid of those barriers of classifications and stop looking at so and so like this is Tom the white man or Tom the black man, why not just Tom the man?
Because we live in a world where
I get it.
Yeah, we live in a world where you're still going to be judged by your color, your sexuality, basically your status, and it's fucked up. And it has
just
to
a
stop.
proper balance of status and shit like that. Like,
no, and I get that, but I'm hoping that we can one day get to that point
where there's no titles, there's no classification.
Like, we just people.
Yeah.
Bro, I feel like that's. I'm not saying that's not unrealistic, but you're always gonna have people.
It'll be that here we'll be long dead, but it'll be that here you won't be able to discern anybody from anybody else, because all races in America one day will be mixed. Everyone will be mixed.
Yeah.
So there will no longer exist at least the racial divide. Air quotes. Because you can't see me.
I mean, it's tough when you say that, because like, you're always gonna have somebody who feels like,
for sure, but
whatever they were born in, they're maybe not better than somebody else, but they just feel like they're just, I don't like how most black people would be like, oh well, black people are athletic, white people are not, or black people got rhythm. Like, why can't motherfuckers just dance how they dance? Because dance is universal. Yeah. It's like everybody just do whatever the fuck they doing, and it's considered dance somewhere.
Yeah.
And I get what you're saying, but it's just like, for everybody to stop putting labels on shit, it's like, it's real tough to just get out of that mind, like, to get out of
it's
that.
Ingrained in us. Yeah. We're programmed to think like that. We are.
And it's just to get away from that, bro.
Yeah, that's a dream. To me, that's a dream worth dreaming. That's a dream worth dreaming to me.
Like we all thought, like, Martin Luther King making the strides to put black men and white men in the same spot was
nobody would be judged on their color, creed, kind, Jews, Gentiles, etc., etc. Right. He was speaking along the terms of what I was speaking. Isn't it this way?
I'm about to say. I'm like, scratching your face. I'm like, wow.
That's gotta be the title.
Yeah.
Sleep.
But it's like, who was the dude that was just on the Breakfast Club, and he was like talking about like the thing that really got more.
Trevor Noah?
No. Like, dude, bald head. I'm like, okay.
I know who he's talking about.
Tom Williams. But he was talking about like what really got Martin King killed, and it wasn't like I have a dream Martin. It was like, I think it was like some idea he had about like homeless people, and it was like just homeless motherfuckers all together, white and black, like making it feel like it's, let me put it, because I just thought that was like interesting on the topic of why we got to put labels on shit, because like a white homeless man, a black homeless man, Mexican gay homeless man, they all in the, like, you don't give a fuck what their title is, they all in the same position and status. That's what I'm saying. And so it's just like, just the really balance of status, but then that comes from a balance in like other things to make that a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the case, then it's got to be more blacks, gays, Mexicans in higher positions, and you know what I'm saying, like middle class and all that. It's just,
well, yeah, I mean, we
balance.
We
Balance.
only can operate under the structure that we are, that is known to us. We've only known central figure or figures governing over masses of people. That's the only thing we've ever known. In her history, that's the only thing we ever seen. You take it back to Egypt, it's the pharaohs. Like, it was kings in England and in France and so on and so forth. It was the czars in Russia. You know, emperor in Ethiopia, so on and so forth. Like, it's the only thing we know. Like, what if there was none of that? What if there was none of that? What if it was just us? What if it was just us and it wasn't like a governing body or none of that? Like, what if it was just us? Could we live in a world like that without someone telling us what to do? That's an interesting question.
That's very, very. good.
Yes, that's say that for another podcast.
Yeah, we'll probably save that for next time.
Yeah, save Byron Allen for the next podcast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I was just like trying to.
Oh, for sure.
So unfortunately on this one, we're probably gonna go ahead and cut this one short. For us it's kind of late, but we wanted to just give you some more extra material.
But it's happy hour somewhere. Drink up.
Drink up. Drink up.
But don't drive.
Yes. And if you're gonna smoke, do your own smoking, indoors, outdoors, in the proximity of your home.
This is America.
Yes.
Don't get you living up.
So we're gonna go ahead and yeah. So on this one, we're going to sign out. Again, this is your boy Dom.
The lovely Michael Stein. Ladies, get at me. I'll just play. Why not?
Your boy Gunner. And your boy No ID.
Michael.Stein. 4126@gmail.com.
No ID.
Shout out Left Guard, because I don't feel like they don't get enough. I don't even know if it's a Left Guard. I'm just fucking.
Yeah, I'm like, Left Guard. What the fuck?
Shout out New Spikes. Fuck Old Spikes. Shout out New Spikes.
So they just one of those niggas. This is going. What's the opposite side of the coin?
Shout out East Philly.
Yeah. So we're gonna go and roll out. Until then, tune in next time.
Yeah.